Something has matted down the wildflowers. It's been traveling around and smushing them all over here.
This guy hasn't protected them, and neither have these.
There's a few, and then there's ones like this where the tops have been completely eaten off. What hasn't been eaten has been trampled. Another one just eaten the top. All the beautiful wildflowers that could be snapped off somebody's dinner. Oh, there's a deer print.
Our suspicions proved true. We knew a groundhog was close by, and apparently there's more than one. For years, we've seen a single groundhog. There are tunnels under the shed, and also about 40 yards away in the neighbor's yard by our side yard. What was once one hole has sunk nearly a foot, forming an indentation with now 3 holes. This is the mother, and I believe this shot taken months earlier is the father. One baby I call White Nose, and one I call Striper due to the black stripe down his back. It's hard to count, but I think there are 4 or 5 babies, all starting to venture out for food. Born mid-April, females may stay with their mother a year until she has another litter. But generally, the babies start to leave the mom's burrow after 2 to 3 months. So I guess they'll be here until July, eating our flowers and vegetables. Often referred to as whistle pigs or woodchucks, groundhogs are in the Sciuridae family within the order of Rodentia. This includes squirrels and prairie dogs, chipmunks, and marmots like these yellow-bellied marmots from Colorado. This family of groundhogs not only hangs out under the shed, but near the holes in what I call the sinkhole. Some days exclusively munching on clover and grass away from the wildflowers. To deter them from their wildflowers and vegetable garden, we sprayed cayenne pepper and dropped garlic, which are supposed to be too strong for their sensitive noses. But they returned. Of course, there are also predators in their midst, ones that I'd like to protect them from. Last year, our dog Rio chased an adult while I screamed for him to come, which he did when the groundhog stood up, hissed, and darted towards him. That adult was formidable. This mother keeps an eye out for threats to her babies. Although they haven't been well studied, we do know that groundhogs have a very perceptive sense of smell, sight, and hearing. They are heavily reliant on their vision and can see 200 to 300 yards away. And their hearing and smell senses also alert them to danger. One day, Rio was off-leash in the front yard wearing a remote-control collar. Sadly, he rushed toward the hole on the side yard and killed a baby before I could shock him. It was horrible. And then there were only 3. The wildflowers are nice, but not at the expense of a life. I want these babies to thrive, but to allow our vegetables and flowers to grow too. Apparently, the average lifespan of a groundhog is a mere 2 to 3 years. Predators include coyotes, hawks, humans, foxes, and dogs. I wonder what the mom and her babies thought happened to their sibling. They stayed close to the sinkhole the day after the baby's death. Also the next day, I was filming through the window of an upstairs bedroom and Rio was moving about at my feet making noise. The groundhog mother moved directly in front of one of her babies as if to shield her.
Sit down, Rio. Rio, stop it.
I think she's a pretty good mom. Despite the trampling, some of the new wildflowers are blooming. We've already seen the babies return to the wildflowers. Perhaps their sense of smell is not as developed as the adults, or maybe we just haven't seen the mother return. The garlic and pepper wasn't a strong deterrent, so we're trying a more drastic measure. Terry received a urinal when he recently had a kidney stone, and we've read that groundhogs can't stand predator and human urine. Since our vegetable garden is starting to flower, we'll try this deterrent around both garden patches, especially since we've read that one of the groundhog's favorite smells is cantaloupe, which we are trying to grow. Recently, we caught the groundhog mom sneaking under the netting to the garden and eating the tops of our pepper plants. We may have to resign ourselves that the gardens belong to our groundhogs. Even with strong smells around our plants, the groundhogs may not be able to resist the lure of cantaloupe, watermelon, squash, and flowers. Perhaps the best solution of all will be to plant them a garden all their own of alfalfa and clover. Before we give in, we're trying Repelzol, which is a very stinky spray that our neighbors use to deter critters from their beautiful flowers. I think it's working because for a few days I've had only a few groundhog sightings. Maybe it's just time for the babies to wander off. Or maybe the stench is too much and they're now feeding on the neighbor's clover. I have mixed feelings because we very much want our flowers and vegetables. But now I can't watch the young family grow up. At least it means I can finish this movie.